All right, so let me just move on here and I'll give you opportunity to share later on. At part one, we have talked about just now wholeness. Wholeness in terms of how we should not compartmentalize ministry from our personal life, because our physical, emotional, intellectual, and social aspect of our lives are all integrated. They are all important, and they affect our ministry as well. So, but sometimes we so easy thinking ministry is only maybe studying in seminary. Ministry is about just doing street witnessing or in a church or in an institution we serve. But it's actually ministry is more than that. It's our whole being, right? We have to be healthy, have to be emotionally strong. Our marriage or relationships, they all, affect who we are and how we serve. So all these are very, very important. So that's why the first point I want to all of us to think about is wholeness. Am I whole as a person? Am I whole as a person? Am I physically, emotionally, intellectually, socially? And at the end, I will talk about spiritually. Are we whole as a person? Okay, so the next one I want to talk about is openness. Okay, either openness to changes or openness for communications. Now, let me ask you a quick question here. Are you open to new ideas and changes? Which picture represents you? Is that the one you welcome or you hold tight? This is the way I am. Don't ask me to change, okay? I think some of us here, especially if we're older, if we're in seminaries or you're serving for quite a number of years, our tendency is this, okay? We might want to hold on to our traditions, hold on to what we believe in. This is the only way to do things. We cannot change, or this is just who we are. We cannot change, okay? I think we have to be very careful, okay? Of course, doctrines is important that we hold tight. We believe, there's no room for changes, okay? What we believe who God is, that's there's non-negotiable. But what about the ways of doing things? Sometimes if you're gatekeepers of an organization, sometimes we become the stumbling block also, because we don't welcome new ideas, because we think, I started this ministry, or I do this, I've been here forever. This is the only way to do this, okay? And we forgot to listen what is happening in this world, and we need to make changes. And if we don't change, sometimes we die, our ministry die, because we fail to listen, fail to make changes, to accept new ideas. And I think that this is one good example here. Do you have a fixed mindset or a growth mindset? I think our seminary really do a good job training us to think critically, believe in something very wholeheartedly. But at the same time, it can also train us to believe there's no room for changes. So we have to be aware of that, okay? Be aware of that. As I mentioned before, doctrines, of course, there's no room for changes, but there are other ways of doing things, and there are better ideas out there to doing things. So which one are you? If you're in a fixed mindset, you would love to prove your intelligence or talent. But if you're in a growth mindset, you want to improve your talent and intelligence. You always strive to improve yourself. How can I be better? Instead of thinking, I'm already very good, okay, I don't need to change. Or if you're a fixed mindset, you're trying to avoid any challenges or fear of failure. But if you have if you have a growth mindset, you love challenges, because that's give you opportunity to grow and to improve. If you have a fixed mindset, let's just take it easy. Let's not do more work, okay? This is good, right? It's so easy. We stay in the comfort zone. Let's do nothing, okay? This is good, okay? We just stay here. But if you have a growth mindset, you will overcome any obstacles. If you know this is a good cause for you, this is what God has called you to do, regardless how troublesome it is. I want to try. I want to see how God gonna take me. And I cannot tell you how many times the ministry that God entrusted me to start, I want to tell God, hey, I'm happy here. Don't tell me to do anything, right? I have nothing to offer. When we talk about the craft ministry, I tell you what, I only knew one craft. Okay, God, how? But God is a God of miracles, okay? He really, I oftentimes think I'm the little boy with 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish. Just one craft, God can take it anywhere, and He expanded. It was His ministry. So if you have a fixed mindset, treat criticism as an attack. Some of us, if we become very sensitive, when people give you suggestions or feedback, you take it so like negatively. But have you ever thought those criticism can also be an opportunity for you to grow? Someone, of course, sometimes people attack you out of bad intentions, okay? But there's some people out of good intentions want to give you suggestions for you to grow. So also take that as opportunity to grow as well. Fixed mindset threatened by people's success. I think sometimes in ministry, it's so easy. We can get jealous, what other people are doing. Like if that person, do a better job than we do, that's the fixed mindset. Okay. For a growth mindset, we will celebrate the success. How can I be inspired by what they're doing? What can I learn from their ministry, right? Instead of thinking, hey, this is a competition, I have to be better. But what can I learn from this person if that person make it better? Yes, what can I learn from that person? So which mindset are you? I think it's important for us to seek the growth mindset. It's very obvious and open to changes and take risks. I think back in a few years back, when God impressed my heart, I give you a personal example, to start the Sister Ministry Toolbox ministry online. I think I heard different voices from different people. A lot of people thinking, it's just a waste of time. What you're doing is a waste of time. But I really talked to my mentor. I think my mentor was the one who really encouraged me. Okay, why don't you just try 1 or 2 workshops? If it doesn't work, then if God doesn't want to use it, then it doesn't matter. At least you tried. And I think, because of her encouragement to me, so we started this, and then God knew, right? And He used it and to bless the ministry. And so now even coming back here in Canada, some of the connections, we'll still be able to connect with the sister in Mongolia, India, and different places. So I thank God for sometimes we have to take risk. If you know this is something God has impressed in your heart to do. I don't know what God impressed in your heart right now. Maybe you're thinking, hey, I'm nothing. I have nothing to give, okay? I cannot do anything. That's all I know. I know so little. But let me encourage you from my experience for the past 10 years and the years before. Sometimes we have to learn the faith of this little boy who approached God with 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish. And it really God, the one who multiplies. So I don't know what God has impressed in your heart. Maybe it's a God-sized project. But never estimate, when you say, yes, God, I want to do this with you. I want to journey with you. Show me. And you'll be amazed. You'll be amazed. Instead of looking in your inabilities, God will take you on a journey that is very amazing. So let me encourage you to do that. Whatever God impressed in your heart. Yes, God, I know this is what you call me to do. I cannot do this, but I trust that you will take me along in this journey. Another thing I want to talk about is open for communications. Do you ask for feedback or suggestions from others? Now, how many of you, when you finish the ministry, you're eagerly to ask people feedback? How many of you? Raise your hand. Or you just finish and done? Finish no more. Do you eagerly ask feedback from your colleagues, even your students, or people you serve together? Okay. I think this is such a growing mindset when we're willing to ask for evaluations. I love Dr. Howard Hendricks said, experience does not necessarily make you better. In fact, it tends to make you worse unless it is evaluated experience. The good teacher's greatest threat is satisfaction. The failure to keep asking, how can I improve? How can I improve? How can I improve? Wow, this is a very humbling statement. I think for some of us, especially if you serve for a number of years, it might be a very hard question for you to ask, because you think you might know it all already. You're running this ministry for so long, you're teaching so long. If some of you are listening to this video, but even though you haven't, you even new, it's just a posture for us to ask, hey, how can I improve after I've done this workshop, or after I've done this event? How can I improve? And the problem is, when we don't ask that question, we just keep repeating the wrong things for many, many times. Okay, you just keep repeating, doing the wrong thing again and again and again and again. One thing I love, I really take evaluations seriously. Every time I do a workshop or some events, I ask whoever served with me together, please give me some honest feedback. What do you think? How can we improve? How can we do this better? And even the students. And I hope today, after our seminar today, I hope we will send an evaluation form that you can also give us some feedback as well. How can we make this workshop better? Okay, to truly impart information requires building bridges. Okay, now I have a question for you. I think all of us been in school for a long time, right? Or listen to many people for a long time, communicator. What makes an effective communicator? Okay, what makes someone effective in communications? Okay, I want you to unmute yourself, or you can type in the chat. Okay, what makes an effective communicator? Okay, so I want you to type in the chat right now, or just turn on your mic. Also, okay. Rovina said a good listener. Very good. Relevant. Yes. Relevant. Very good. Anyone else? What makes a effective communicator? A good listener, someone who's relevant. I think the person who is speaking is relevant to the group. Yeah. Be in their shoes, not being judgmental. Yes, I love that, actually. That's a great one. Sometimes it's so easy. If you're in the speaking role, you be careful what you say, because what we say could be hurting someone is because of a judgment of tinted lenses. Okay. Very good. Okay, let me give you 3 concepts of, if this is wonderful. What you share is wonderful. Let me give you 3 concepts of essential communication by Socrates. Socrates is one of the very famous philosopher. I think we all know about him. And he mentioned 3 things that is very, very important. The first one is logos, so content. So how you as a teacher able to maneuver, be able to communicate the content logically and all in an organized manner. Okay. But sometimes as teachers, we just stop here. We thought our job is just to communicate imparting knowledge. But as a teacher, our role is more than just imparting knowledge, not just going through the motions of telling you the church history, or, that's not it. Okay. So in order to be effective, we have to go beyond logos. We have to go beyond the content. The second one is called ethos. It's the credentials and characters of the speaker, which is who you are. Remember my very first point here, the wholeness of who you are, like you as a person. Okay. Are you whole? Because it shows in your classroom, your characters, your credential. Okay. That's the ethos. Last but not least, the pathos, compassion. Okay. Whether the teachers can arouse passion or touch the emotions of the students. So let God teach you the lesson first. To be honest, the most powerful lesson sometimes is how God teach you, and you be able to share those insights with others. Because otherwise, it's so easy for us, just like a robot, right? Actually, a student this day, they can just go to Google. They don't need you. They can just Google the informations, okay? The logos is so easy, right? They can just Google everything. But you're who you are as a teacher, your walk with God, your wholeness, and your passion. So if you're teaching women, I think we all know that especially emotions is something that appeal to them. So if men listen to this video right now, let me encourage you, if you have women in your congregations, please use illustrations that is not soccers or cars or basketball, but stories that speaks to the heart of the women. Okay, so I think especially for women, emotional appeals to them more. I think in human beings in general, the stories really speak to our hearts. So how can we prepare a effective communications? Here are a few things that some of these things you might know already, but I would love to share with you quickly how can we prepare to be a more effective communicator. First of all, I think Eileen kind of talked about earlier, the spiritual preparation, a personal prayer, like how we can prepare. I think oftentimes I have to pray, God, I don't know my students well enough. Can you inspire me as I prepare my workshop or my seminar? Only you know what they need. How can I focus on the things that you need? So spiritual preparation, praying for your student. Class preparation, of course, we have to know the content well enough so that you don't really show unprepared. Audience analysis. How many of you have heard about this term, audiences analysis? Raise your hand. Okay, so this is a very crucial element when you come to teaching. It's like those market researcher, they want to know who are the target audience, who are the people buying their products. Now, in the same way, when you're teaching, who are your audience? Who are you teaching? Okay, who are they? What are some of the needs or struggles that they have? How can my lesson be relevant to them? Okay, so this is very crucial. No matter you're teaching children, teaching youth, teaching adults, teaching elderly, no matter who you're teaching, you want a dialogue with them, with your people, maybe before class or after class, just to understand what they're going through. So whatever you're teaching them will be relevant to what they're going through in their lives. I still remember years ago, my first course in a seminary was to teach Bible study methods. Okay, and I thought to myself, oh my goodness. And I was teaching in the Partners in Ministry, okay, the women's program. So I thought to myself, oh my goodness, okay, first of all, I think I forgot almost everything I've learned. And now I have to teach this. And then I thought to myself, oh my goodness, how can I make it interesting and not boring to my students? So I asked God, show me, I need your rescue, like deliverance. So I think when I prayed, God really gave me wisdom how to make the course interesting, okay? By knowing the needs of my students, understanding these are the mothers, some of them haven't been to school for a long time. So first of all, I cannot make it too technical that I would lost them the first class, okay? I cannot tell them all the terminologies in Bible study methods and I will lose them, okay? So you have to know your audience. Who are your audience? That is very, very crucial. And then I think God in his inspirations, since these are the women and my love in fashion, somehow God gave me an idea linking some of the fashion tips with Bible study observations. When we talk about repetitions, comparison and all that. So I think it was God inspiration at the time. But why I'm telling you this is when you're stuck, sometimes when you're invited to speak in occasions where you have no idea who these people are. Okay, you really have to ask God for inspirations. But if you know these people, really spend time listening to them. What are some of the struggles that they have? So not only you have to plan your lesson accordingly, also the assignments that I gave in the class that would be relevant to my ladies. So some of the assignments that I gave would be something they would do with the children or something that they would can in turn teach in a ministry setting. So when we teach something, we have to always ask this question, who are my audience? And how am I going to plan the difficulties or the level of understanding of this course so that I don't throw them off, so that I don't scare them, that they don't learn anything? I think it's a very important question that we ask, no matter you share a devotional message or whatever it is, who are my audience and how am I going to share will affect their lives? Engaging, I think something that you want to explore is active learning activities. So not just lecturing, discussions, game videos, role play, self-reflections are some of the things that is very crucial. to engage your audience. You might want to change your activities every 5 to 10 minutes. On the Zoom setting, you might want to rotate it a bit more. How we dress, how can we dress appropriately for our audience, right? Not too tight, right? PowerPoints, nowadays, if you're teaching online, especially even in person, is your PowerPoint outdated? Okay, sorry. It's become very distracting if it's outdated. How many of you can say yes to this? That you see some PowerPoint looks like this 30 years ago, the colors and the combinations of the graphics. Okay. Let me encourage you. Also, this is one website I go to a lot. How many of you know Canva? Any one of you know this website? Yes. Okay. Free resources, wonderful. And I think nowadays the look also very important. That really speak to the audience, right? Handout, simple, clear, concise, not too distracting. Presentation, your volume, right? Not shouting, but loud enough for the larger class. Also not too rigid or robotic. Sometimes you might want to practice it a little bit. Speed, not too fast, up and down, your volume, your gesture depends on how big is your class. When you teach on Zoom, there's one trick that I've learned over the years is you want to make sure you have half of your body showing in a camera, because research has shown that because on the Zoom setting, if you go like this, if I talk to you 3 hours like this, how do you feel? Very intimidating. Okay, so you want to sit back a little bit and your gesture will add to the communications. Okay, that's this proven research already, especially on a Zoom setting when you're teaching online. Make sure, if you possible, show your hand gesture when you're talking. Other things, building rapport. I think we all know nonverbal and verbal rapport. How you carry your class with your smile, eye contact, body language, and facial expressions. And I cannot tell you, your enthusiasm about that topic is the most contagious. Okay, you might not know a lot, okay, but your excitement, of course you have to prepare, but your excitement will encourage your listener to listen. Okay, limit your terminologies. Okay, depends on the occasions. Sometimes you might want to be simple and easier to understand. Beware, especially if you've been trained in seminaries. We are so easy pick on words, right? We love those big words. But honestly, a lot of people out there, they really don't care. Okay? When you throw them a Greek and Hebrew, which is wonderful if it's relevant to what you're teaching, okay? Like the Bible passage, 1 or 2 keywords that you need to explain. Okay, don't just throw it out there for the sake of, throwing out there so that so beware of that. Or the commentaries. How many of commentaries you need to quote in your Bible study? Honestly, not a lot, because you only want to tell what is relevant. Even the background, what you're sharing, everything has to be relevant. Don't dump them bunch of stuff that they don't need. You just throw them off and they're not interested. They're bored. They will tell you they're bored. They won't come back next time. Okay. All right. So sitting arrangement, last but not least, how you arrange your classroom, right? The room temperature, the sitting arrangement. Is it a lecture style? Of you able to circular in a community style? The ambience, the building online community. Let me encourage you, if you're teaching online, especially when it's harder to build a community, make sure you have allowed time for people to fellowship as well. So you will allow them to have discussions time online while you're facilitating a seminar or something. Okay, so I would love for you to tell me what are some of the tips that you engage the students, or you've seen people engage the students in classroom. Okay, maybe not personally. What are some of the tips that you can share with us at the group? Okay, I share a little bit, but I would love to hear from you as well. What are some tips to engage your students in the classroom? You want to unmute yourself or type in the chat right now? Anyone have a quick few things, or you've seen your teachers done, or you've been to a class before they have done this, or been to a, I don't know, a conference, anything? Eileen, yes.
I went to a conference and I just enjoyed how the class was done. It was all like short presentation or short talk by the speaker. And then after that, he prepared good questions and then
Mm.
just put us in small groups. And every time the small group changes, you cannot be in your same small group
Ah.
for every session, right? So you can learn from different people's experiences and all that. And then just learning from the rich, contribution of the people that you're sitting with, and then you report it back as a group to the
Yes.
whole class is so fun because you don't only learn from your group, but then you hear from the bigger audiences. So
Mm. Thank
really fun. Like it doesn't have to burden the teacher to keep on speaking and do all the thinking and doing all the work. So we
Yes.
really enjoyed it.
Wow, I love that, Eileen. That's a great point. And this is such a great suggestion, especially teaching adults. I think they need time to learn from each other. The wealth of experience in life
Mm.
that really enriches the whole teaching. So it's not just the speaker speaking the whole time because she doesn't know everything or he doesn't know everything, but everyone have experienced something that is valuable to share. Thank you, Eileen. I love that. Crystal, you want to say something?
Yeah, I just want to mention the things in the chat. So Ate Rowena said that the latest news or trends, or maybe the favorite band. And then Ate Julia said that to give icebreaker.
Yes, very good. I
Yeah,
love
and
all that.
reflection questions.
Yes, yes, reflection questions. Very good. All right. How about anyone else? A tree or Movina? A tree, you have anything to share?
uh, j- uh, with my students, I talk to them about something that interests them, something that is
Mm,
relating to their lives and their struggles. And so once they open up, then I try to uh, relate to the topic that that I can bring them back to the thing that I prepared.
I love that. Yes. Start with their struggles, ask their challenges, and bring them back to the studies that you're going to teach them. I love that. Thank you. Rowena, you have anything to share with us?
Additional, so sometimes in class, if the topic is about business, then we talk about of course, not just business, but how to do troubleshooting or things that may not be apparent to them as yet, but through observations that they'll be able to learn from it. Or sometimes we also do dyadic group activities, or sometimes you also take the students out,
Mm.
for on-job training.
Yes, yes. Great. Thank you so much. I love all your ideas. If you realize I've been asking you many questions, right? Because I want to hear like what Eileen suggested, because all of you have wealth of experiences that we all learn from each other. Okay, great. Thank you. Love it. Love it. Okay, so if you're interested, there's another workshop there, engaging facilitation and teaching online. There's a YouTube channel there. This is a facilitation skill that when we were in Dallas at the time, there was an agency called Entrust, and they specialize in facilitations. So some of the things I've shared in this workshop particularly might be helpful to you or your church, because I think sometimes our churches don't really spend time equipping our facilitators. So we kind of copy whatever the other people do and then just keep doing the wrong thing again and again and again and again. And the facilitator is the one who talking most of the time. Okay. That's very discouraging to the group. So if you're interested, you feel free to use this material as well and to train up your leaders if you're interested. All right. My third point is mentoring. Why do you think I picked mentoring as one of the key factors as being an effective teacher or ministry worker? Why do you think that? Crystal, do you guys have mentoring group in your seminary?
Yes, we do have some mentoring groups.
In what ways do you see teachers also mentoring?
I think one thing I truly appreciate from the faculty that has been mentors in this seminary is that they tend to really get close to their students in a personal level. So, take for example, if you are in a group, of course, you mentioned some personal things, right? And then when they walk out the corridor, and then if they see you in the canteen, they would always follow up on such things. So, that is one good way wherein you could remind the student or your mentee to follow up on his action plan as well, right? So it's not just maybe following up in a way that the mentor is that is let's say, how do I explain this well? Wait, I think what I'm trying to say is that by him asking how the student is also a way for the student to remember his duties as well. So it's like having someone accountable for your actions and your plans as well. So I think it's really important to have mentors.
Yes, very good. I love that. Yes, I love how you said about the faculties also, the teachers that also become the mentors. That's also happening in our school in Singapore. Tree, you want to share something because she's also in a mentoring group. How do you see that relevance in teaching?
I think because mentoring, I feel like mentoring is really good because I've experienced that what you cannot really do in the classroom, you are able to do it in mentoring. And then once, I feel like that is really the base. So once you are able to connect with your students on personal level, as Crystal has shared, you are able I believe that the teaching becomes more effective because like in the classroom, for me as a student, what I'm looking for is not merely an information that I get from the professor, from books, but it's the personal touch and the connection. And so I think mentoring really prepares and lays the foundation of for the teaching to be more effective, for the teaching to be transformative.
Wow, I love that. Well said, Atri. Very well said. I love that. That lays the foundation for teaching. Mentoring lays the foundation for teaching. Now, there's a good question we always ask ourselves. Do you know your students? Do you know your students? Teaching that impacts is not just head to head, but heart to heart. I think like Atri said earlier, right? It's not so much about I want to read the books or knowing the knowledge, but I want to know the teacher also care about me. The teacher cares about me. And that really lays the foundation in teaching. I think we all may heard this phrase before. No one cares about what you know until they know that they care. Okay, no one cares about what they know until they know that they care. I think oftentimes we feel extra motivated if we are connected with the teachers, right? Thinking back about my time in the seminary, the few teachers I felt especially I really enjoy the class is because the personal touches, like Tree said. When I sent an email about my personal struggle, I still remember back in the days I was in my mission class, and there was a teacher. He is very kind, and my biggest fear in mission is to go to a jungle without any electricity, or I have to sleep on the mud floor and there's no roof, and all my kids will be eaten by the tribes. So I told my fear to my mission teacher at the time. His name is Dr. Poco. I still remember his response to me. He was so gracious. And I said, Dr. Poco, I don't think I can be a missionary because I don't think I can go to the jungle. I don't think I can live in a place without electricity or water and all that. I think I would die. And then he was so nice. He patiently answered my email saying, you know what, nowadays, missionaries, the globalization, the people actually come to the city and you can be a missionary in the city. And I think instead of him, criticizing me, wow, you little faith, or, you're not dying for Christ, you're not sacrificing enough, criticizing me. I was so appreciative of the fact that, he understood my struggles, and yet he encouraged me. And guess what? What I spent the last 8 years, I was in a city. I was in Singapore, and God knew my struggle. I couldn't go to the jungle, but I love Singapore, and I miss that so much. And being in a city, the world come to us. And so I want to share this with you. It's because I think sometimes we can be so jaded. If we are teaching so long, we forgot to care about the students. Also, we become critical, especially in their struggles. So here are a few things I want to share with you. Mentoring, know your students. I think this is very crucial. Their struggles, some of you mentioned earlier. Earn the right to be heard. Sometimes we have to be careful. Not everyone wants to be mentored. Not everyone wants your advice, okay? Do you know what I'm saying here? Okay, some people can become, we have to be careful with your teachers, or we have to earn the rights to be heard, that you don't become so nosy, or you just want to, you know what I'm saying? Like some people wants to get into your life with the wrong motives. Okay, we have to be careful. What's your motivations? Do you want to learn more gossip from this person or her secrets, and then you share it with someone else, so they can prove that I know a lot of student secrets? I've seen many people do that. Okay, they love to tell us, how many secrets they know from the students. Okay, so I have to be careful. What's your intention when you trying to get to know, earn your right to be heard? So confidentiality is key. If someone trusts you enough to do that, okay, please don't share as a prayer request with someone else. Okay. Okay, that share with someone else, or talk to other faculty. Oh, I have a great concern in Crystal. Okay, she shared with me this, and it becomes someone the whole faculties knew about, what she's going through. Okay, we have to be careful what we say, because it's a spiritual discipline for us to hold our tongues and what to share, what not to share. And I remember back in the days when I was in Dallas, there was a ministry that reaching out to the Muslim group, and I still remember the pastor. He always said, they've been very involved helping these people to get their feet on, in settle down. And he always say, I have to earn the right to be heard before he would share the gospel with them, so that I don't really push it to them. Authenticity. Are you real? Okay, are you trying to pretend to be someone else, to be holy? Okay, so I think we have to be wise how much we should share, or how much we can share with the students, like in terms of how vulnerable. I still remember back in the days, some of the professor, I think I related to them most, because the fact that they're willing to share with us their struggles. They're not scared of how you think about them, but of course appropriately and wisely. And I think it's a sign of humility that they're willing to do that. Seek out the good and potentials in your students. I think this is so key. Sometimes we might be easy, just focus on the negatives or in the students. But remember how Jesus see Peter and his disciples, right? How many times Peter failed Jesus, but yet he always see the potentials in Peter. So I it's something that we can learn, is like you be able to see someone, not where he or she is right now, but do you see from God's perspective that the potentials that this person has? Look for teachable moments to teach your students and journey with them. I think mentoring is one-on-one and life-on-life and personal touches. As many of you shared, right? The faculties will reach out to you personally, and you'll be amazed. Sometimes I'm amazed. Sometimes when back in the days when we were in Singapore, so we will have students over all the time to hang out with our families. And I think to me, it was quite shocking over the years. Some of the girls would tell me, hey, one day I want to get married, I hope I have a Christian family, like your family. To be honest, we're not perfect in many ways, okay? We failed in many ways, but I was shocked to see how much they observe us outside the classrooms. So don't be thinking that what you're teaching is just in the classroom, because people that you minister to, as I mentioned before, wholeness, our whole being is the powerful lessons. So here's some of the questions I want you to think about, okay? How would you describe heart-to-heart teaching? What is crucial? What are some things that why is it crucial that we know our students, and what are some ways we could get to know the needs of our students? Okay, so let me break you up in a breakout group.